Hey guys, it's Ivan, and in this video I want to show you how to use Instapage, which is a very easy to use software used for building out landing pages. I'm going to show you everything you need to know about Instapage, including how to sign up for their free trial, how to create a landing page, how to set up a custom domain, how to split test different landing pages, and much more. If you're brand new to Instapage, I do recommend that you watch the video from start to finish so that you don't miss anything important. However, I will also add a table of contents so you can always go to the section that you need to. To get started with a free Instapage trial, simply click on the link in the description and you will be able to follow along with me. That said, let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing you guys want to do is just head over to go.ivanmana.com/Instapage, which is my affiliate link, and you guys get a 14-day free trial. I am currently on the optimized plan, so some of the things that I will be showing you will be from this plan. But if you just want to test out the builder and see if you like it, you can of course go with the create one. But either plan comes with a 14-day free trial, so you don't really lose anything. So once you select your plan, just click on Start 14-day free trial. You can sign up with Google or just continue with email. And then you are just going to fill in these blanks. And once you confirm your email, you will gain access to your account. So very, very simple. So what I'm going to do here is, because I am already a member, I'm just going to log in and then I'm going to see you on the inside of the Instapage dashboard. All right, and so here we are inside the Instapage dashboard. You can right away start with creating a new page. You can add more team members if you're working as part of a team. You can view leads eventually once we start adding leads and we have an email submit form, things like that. So here are the different options here on the side that you have access to. You can contact support over here on the bottom right. Very good support, by the way. I have been contacting them for some questions and they have done a very, very amazing and thorough job in answering. So you will not be disappointed. So I will go all these other options, but let's go step by step. So the first thing I want to do is show you how to build out a landing page, create the sticky bars, the pop-ups, and everything that comes with it. So we're just going to click on landing pages over here. I do have some pages that I deleted, so don't worry about that, but you will see a page that looks like this. So just click on create page. Now you might see an option that will say something like create a standard page, import a page, or create an AMP page. So I've noticed you get those options kind of at random. So I'm just going to show you how to do this basic default page first. And of course, if you have a landing page that somebody shared with you, you can use the import option. But we're going to go with one of these templates. So you can pick and choose what you like the best. You can, of course, sort by kind of what you want. So in this case, let's suppose I'm promoting a free guide, my affiliate marketing guide. So we can look for something like asset download over here, and we can look at the templates associated with that. So in my case, I have an affiliate marketing guide. So these templates look good. Let's go with maybe this one where we'll have an image of my book as well. And we'll click select over here, and then we can name it. So let's say my affiliate marketing guide, and we'll say create page. And then what we will want to do is click on edit page so we can actually make the changes. And then once we're done with that, we will go through all these other options here as well. So let's click on edit design here. And now we'll be taken to this Instapage editor, where you will of course be able to make any changes. So as with any other standard builder, you have the blocks on the left here. So any specific elements, or if you want to add a full block, and then you will have the editing options on the right. So if I select this little element here, I will be able to change the color, change the font size, change the position, all that stuff. I could also select this and drag it anywhere. So that's one of the things I love about page builders like Instapage, is that you can move elements anywhere. And that is just so important for me personally, because for example, with ClickFunnels, you have to put things in specific blocks and you don't have the same flexibility you have here, right? So again, let's suppose we want to promote my affiliate marketing guide. So the first thing I want to do is change this image. So I'm going to click here, double click it, and I want to change the background image. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to say change image. And I'm just going to upload my image. What you could also do is, if you don't have any images on you and you want to use a generic image, you can use the free images here that they have. That just makes it much easier to add this content. Alternatively, of course, you can use the free image sites. So I'm going to go back into upload it here, click on upload, and then I'm going to select it and I'm going to insert it. And there's the guide. Now, as you can see, it has the text in front of it. So we want to delete that. So I'm just going to click on it and hit the backspace key. Same thing here. Oops. So as you can see, it is locked. So all the elements are grouped together, which is what they have by default. So I'm just also going to ungroup them all. That way it's easier to select each element. Alternatively, you could just double click on any element if you have them grouped, and you will be able to select them that way as well. But this is just easier because we only do have the one element. So there's that. Let me see, make sure all this works. Looks good. Now I believe my image actually comes with the black background, but if your image is transparent, you could also change the background color over here by just selecting the color. And as you can see here, my image does have the default black color, so that's why it just shows up like that. So that's the guide. Now let's suppose I want to move this on the left-hand side, and I want to move this text on the right. So I want to select all of these elements. I could do this to select them all, or I could select them individually by clicking on an element and then just shift-clicking every other one. But that is a little more tedious. It's much faster to just grab all of this. I could also group them, and then I can just go ahead and move them here. And then I'm going to grab this and move this guide over here. And so now that is more to my liking. And I'm going to maybe move this a little bit higher up. And any elements we want to add, again, are over here. So if we want to add some more text, we could select the text option, which is paragraph. Select it here and then just drag it over here. And then here we could add a disclaimer or something like that. So let's ungroup this first so it's easier to edit the elements. And then it is an ebook download, and let's say get your free affiliate marketing guide. And then we'll say 55 pages of content. We'll say learn how affiliate marketing works and potentially start making money today. And then you could include a picture of you. Again, if you don't want any element, you can just select it and delete it. But I think this does look nice. So I'm just going to go to background image, change image, and let me upload my image here real quick. I think that looks good. I'm going to click on insert over here. And what you could also do is choose how you want that to look. So you have this little circle here, and then you can just choose which part of the image you want it to show. And mainly for this one, it works just up and down, which is fine, but I think that looks really, really good already. And then what is my name? It is Ivan Mana. Job title, let's say affiliate marketer. And then here we could say, and then what we could do is we could have a little form, right? So people can enter their email and then they could get this ebook automatically downloaded to them. So actually, I'm going to delete this one here and I'm going to look for the form, which I will also show you how to integrate here as well. So we're just going to make this a little bigger. We're going to make the button a little bigger. You will notice that if you use Instapage, things click. So once they're in line with something, they just click, right? So it's just really, really nice and convenient. So this looks good, but I do want to change that to say enter your name here and enter your email here. So I'm just going to select this and then click on the three dots on the side, click edit. Let's say enter your name here, ... And we do want to make this required if in this case we want to enter the first name. I'm going to click save. And once we set up the integration with your email provider, you will be able to choose which field you want this to correspond to. So in this case, this is going to be our first name. So you will look for the first name field with your third-party email softwares. So I will show you how to do that. But for now, we want to do the same thing for email. So I'm going to click email and I'm going to say enter your email here, ... And we do want the email to be validated to make sure it's real. We'll click save, and that looks pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with this. We do want to change the button text though. So we're going to go to button style, and then here we're going to say, send me my guide, something like that. You can choose the hover button color, the regular button color, everything however you want it. So let's say I want it to be tealish maybe, like over here. So of course you could grab the color code if you have it and just paste it here, but I'm just gonna save time and just select it from here, maybe something like that. And then for the hover color, it should be the same one maybe, but just either lighter or darker. So we're just gonna make it a little darker like that. And you can't see it now, but once we preview the page, once we're done, you will see the hover effect and what that looks like, okay? So let's just save our work here real quick. And that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. But of course, we could come in here and just add additional content. We could maybe add some testimonials, right? It's really, really easy, really straightforward. You just select the element you want to change, and then you just make changes. So for this one, if you want this to be bigger, you can just go ahead and increase the size of it, for example. There, I made it 47. Ebook download, if we want this to be, for example, let's say lighter blue or even maybe green, we can do that. So maybe something like that. And then over here, if we want to make this shorter, we can. And then as you can see here, again, it clicks, it snaps into place, right? There, and you see the line as well, so to indicate that it is centered. So that is cool as well. And then here we have another email form as well. And so let's suppose that we're gonna leave everything else as is, but let's suppose you want to add another block, maybe with some more information about the guide and who you are. So what you can do is you can click on block over here, or you can just click on insert block here, and you can actually add already existing blocks, so like templates. So if you want to add, let's say, an ebook download, this will come already prepared for you, so you don't have to add these. Maybe features and benefits, maybe something about us, for example. You can add that, and that way you don't have to come in there and just manually recreate from scratch. If you, however, do want to add an empty block, you can just click on My Blocks, click on New Block right here, and it will add an empty block with nothing on it. So you can come in there and just add it all yourself. What you could also do is once you add a block, you can save it. So in this case, I created this random block and then I just saved it to my blocks. I'll show you how to do that in a second. But let's go here and let's add something about us. So team about us, and then we can pick something from here. Let's suppose I do have a team. So maybe let's use this one. And that looks good. And then if you do want to add a block that you created, maybe you made some changes and you want to use it on other pages, you just click the three dots and then you click Save to My Blocks. You give it a name, and then that will show up as what you have seen with my existing block. So we're going to close out of that. Over here, we can add another picture. So again, we're going to go to background image. We can say change image. Let's go to free and let's see if we can find something with some people here maybe. All right, so I just picked a random image, but obviously you would select the one that you like the best. You can also adjust the corner radius if you like. And if you have this option set to on consistent corners, then just make sure that all the corners that you adjust are even. So I think that looks pretty good. That looks really nice. Now, another thing I do like with Instapage is that you can add a carousel. So take a look and explore all these options on the side. These are pretty cool. One of the options I like is this carousel one. So it's like a collection of images. So you would add your elements into here, and then you would drag this carousel as an element wherever you want to. So for example, if you want a carousel of images, you could come in here, you could select image. Let's suppose we want to add this one. We're gonna move it here. Let's see if we can make it bigger. No, we can make the carousel a little smaller though, just like that, so it fits the images. And then we can go back and we can add another slide. And we can say, okay, for slide 2, I want this to be another image. So we're gonna drag an image again. Let's say we want this one. And then again, we wanna try to make it fit. This one has these dimensions. So if you do want to have a carousel with the same dimensions, make sure all your images are the same dimension as well. In this case, the images are a little bit different, but that's okay. It's just an example. So you have slide 1 and slide 2, and then once you close out of that, you will be able to click the little arrows and you will go to the next image. So that's how that's gonna work. Again, once we preview this, I'm gonna show you what that looks like. And then we can go in and just drag this anywhere. So let's suppose we want to add this. Let's suppose we want to make the image a little smaller, maybe something like this. We're gonna center it, and then we're gonna drag this right over here. Something like that. So obviously not as beautiful, but I'm just showing you this for illustration purposes. And you can also make edits to any image you like. So if we want to edit this one, we can come over here, and if you scroll down, you can choose if you want to show the whole image in the space or just make it normal, so just have it the same size, but show in this specific window that we've selected. We're gonna leave it at stretch. I also like this opacity element because if you have text that's over here that you want to be read, it will be easier to read it if your opacity is lower. So for example, if we want to add, let's say, a headline, You see how much easier this is to read because the opacity of the image is less, right? So it just makes it much easier to read. So I love that about Instapage as well. So let's center that. We're going to center this in the middle of the element just like that. And there you have it. So you know how to use the image, the carousel. The button is basically a button just like this. You have the paragraph, the form. And if we want to add a button over here, so let's make this, let's stretch this out a little bit. And if we want to add a button to take to, for example, our website, we could do so. So we could say button style, let's say, check out my site. And then we'll go back and then we'll go to link setup. And let's suppose we want to take people to my website. We could choose this option. If you want to add a pop-up, you can do so here as well. And I will show you how to add a pop-up shortly. You could also redirect people to a specific section on the page. So you can say, okay, I want to redirect people to this section. You can click here. And then when somebody clicks the button, they will be taken to this part. So really cool. Let's see what else. Additionally, you can give a file download or take them to a different landing page that you already have with Instapage. But in this case, let's suppose, again, we want to take people to my website where I do indeed offer the full version of the guide. We're going to send it here. The area label is for people who use a screen reader, so people with disabilities sometimes, who rely on such labels to see what an element does. So in this case, for example, click here to go to my website. So people that are not able to read by themselves, for example, the computer might read this out to them. So something like that. We can make this bigger. And which reminds me, by the way, I didn't include my guide after somebody signs up, so we should probably do that. So if we click on the button, we click on submission. You could select your Instapage here if you have one. You would have the thank you message after somebody submits this, or you can add it to an outside URL. So when somebody submits this, where would they go? But in our case, again, I want to give them a download. So I'm just going to click on file over here, and I'm going to add my file. So when somebody signs up, they will get this file right away. So we're going to hit save. That's how that's going to work. And once again, once we save this, I will show you what that looks like. Now you can also add a video, you can add boxes, you could add some vertical lines, horizontal lines, you can add a timer. So play around with those, lots of cool options. One thing I did want to also stress before moving on is that you can group elements together, which just makes things so much easier. So if you select this element and then you shift click all these other ones, you can click on group. And now this will be moved around as a group. So very, very easy. And then if you want to edit any element, you can either ungroup them or you can just double click and then you'll be able to edit it. So really, really simple. Now you also have your page settings here, so you can adjust the default fonts for the page. You can adjust the page background, which in this case, it's either white or black here. You have sticky bars and page pop-ups, which I will get into a second. And then if you want to add code on the page, you can add so here in the head, the body, and the footer. You can do so here. And of course, you can add JavaScript here as well. And you also have your version history. So if you want to go back to any version, you can restore. If you made certain new changes that you don't like, you could go back. So that's how you would do that. So let me show you how to add sticky bars and pop-ups, which I think are pretty cool. So if you click on sticky bar, you have the option to add a footer and a header, or a header and a footer. And then you can choose if you want this to be shown on desktop and mobile, or just desktop, just mobile. Same thing for the sticky footer. And then in this case, the very top, the very first block on the page will become a sticky header. So in this case, this is the top block of the page. So we probably don't want that. So let's go in here and add a block so we can use as a sticky bar. So we'll add new block. We'll make it a little smaller, and maybe we could say something like, let's add a paragraph here. Let's drag it over here. And let's say something like limited time offer discount. Click here to get 20% off on your first course. So something like that, and then we could select this. We could hyperlink it right over here, and then we could say we want to take people to, let's say, my courses page, ivanmana.com/all-courses, and then we'll hit save. And so when somebody clicks this, they'll be taken to my courses page. And then what we could also do to make this a little more visible, let's make this maybe a different color. So we'll select that, and then it's going to be a link color. So we'll come in here and we'll make it maybe bluish, kind of the standard So there you go, I made it that certain blue color. And then yeah, we could move it here. Let me just make this more even, like that, and then you would be able to center it. If you look at the lines, something like that. And then we could also center the text over here. And let me unclick that. So I'm not seeing the green line horizontally, but that's okay. We're just gonna eye it. You could also use your arrow keys to align it. So I think that looks about right. And that is it. Okay, so this is going to be our header sticky bar. So if we come to sticky bar, it's going to be our header. And then for the footer, I don't think we need both, but the footer would be the very bottommost footer that you have that will show up as the sticky bar. Now, one other thing we also want to do before I show you what that looks like is we want to make the background color solid, because right now, if we click here and we click edit, you'll see the background color is transparent. So only this black text will show and nothing else. And we don't want that. We want it to stay with this white background. So we're just gonna click here and make it white, just like that. Even though you don't really see it now, you will once you start scrolling. So that was important to do. So let's click save here and let's preview, because I think we've done quite a bit. So let's see what we have so far. And so let's start scrolling, and as you can see here, the sticky bar is at the top, which of course you can make as you like. And then here you have this, and if you click on the little arrows, if you go back, you see the different images. And then if we click check on my site, we'll be taken to this part that we've set, right? I think we did set my website URL, but we might not have saved it, but that's fine. You should know how the button works. And then we have the footer here, which we don't need, by the way, so we should probably deselect it. And then let me show you how the download works. So if we enter my name and email here and click send my guide, this might not work in preview mode, so we'll just leave it until we actually publish the page, but that should get the guide downloaded to you. So we can close out of that, and I think that all looks good. Let me just go to sticky bar here and remove the footer. Sorry by checking that. And if we want to add a pop-up, we just click on page pop-up. We choose enable, and then you add your elements into here. So this is going to be the pop-up. So we can add a button. Oops. Let's click paragraph here, and then we can just add a paragraph over here, and then we can say, don't miss out on this special offer. Get your 20% discount now. So something like that. We can move this down over here, and then we can have a headline. We can say something like, stop, don't miss this promotion. Something like that. We can move it like that, and then we could center it. We could make the text more black, because I don't think it's black enough. And then say something like that. Yeah, so it's up to you how you want to do it. Maybe you want to make the pop-up a little smaller, up to you. And then for the button, we can take them to wherever you want to. So there you go, right? And then when somebody tries to exit the page, this pop-up will trigger, which you can always edit. So not the best looking pop-up, but hopefully you guys get the idea. So I think that does it for the most part for all the different editing options. Let me now show you how to mobile optimize the page, and then we're gonna go in and change the page SEO settings, set up conversions, and then set up the custom domain. So let's click save over here. And so now let's talk about mobile optimization. So everything you have here is on desktop, and it should automatically already be mobile optimized for you. But if you notice that a lot of your elements just look really bad, like over here, you can click on regenerate mobile. And what that's going to do is try to add any of the elements that are missing or that are severely out of place back into the mobile view. So we'll click on regenerate. And as you can see here, it made it at least more visible. But you do want to go in here and just make the changes. So if we go back to desktop over here, we see the little sign on the left. So we can come back in here and mobile, and then we just go in here and then we just adjust it a little bit. So maybe we make this a little smaller. We drag this more to the right. We come in here and we do that. And then we do the same thing for all these other elements. Alternatively, what we could have done is we could have grouped these elements. So if we go back to desktop, this would actually probably make things much easier. If you want to maintain all these elements exactly as they are, what we can do is just select all of this, for example. We can group it, and then it's also important that you select this option here, mobile aspect ratio, and this will make sure that all these elements stay exactly in place. exactly in the same place for the mobile version. So now that we've done that, if we go to mobile, instead of having to rearrange all those elements, and by the way, we will have to regenerate, see again, because we've done those changes. And if you don't want to regenerate everything for the whole page, you can select the section and just click regenerate here. And now this should show up, okay? So that's how you maintain all the elements together in position. The form field here does look a little bit big, so you might have to adjust it on desktop first, but for now this will have to suffice. And then we can come down here. Again, you can drag and drop anything you like, so we can move this a little bit closer on mobile, something like that. And we can move it together. And then this one, let's suppose we want to center that. So we're just gonna drag that over here. We're gonna center this as well. Center it like that and center it in this block. We have the headline here, we have our carousel here, and then we have the button here. And so that is basically it for mobile optimization. So you're just going to click that option that says regenerate. You can group the elements together that you for sure want to keep in place, and then you're just going to go to mobile view and edit it. So over here, for example, as you can see, things are really out of place. Like over here it says headline, but it's below the image. So we want to go to desktop, and then what we want to do is we want to group these, but we also want to lock the mobile aspect ratio. So we're going to select all of these. We're going to group and lock the aspect ratio here. Group, lock the aspect ratio. And now these will for sure stay in place on the mobile view as well. So now if we come back here, and as you can see, again, it's prompting us to regenerate. So we're going to go back to this block right here. We're going to go to the top and we're going to click on regenerate. And now all of these are going to be in place. Okay, so that's how you mobile optimize and keep all the blocks together. So let's go back to desktop. If you don't want the mobile version at all, you can just deselect it, and then on the phone or mobile devices, it will show the actual desktop version. Another thing is you can show hidden elements. So for example, if I want some elements to only show on mobile, for example, this one, I can come over here and I can say make it visible only on mobile, and now you won't see it on desktop. So when you click on show hidden, it will show you the text that is missing right here, right? It's going to highlight it and you'll see what it is. So if we want to bring it back, we're just going to click on show hidden. We're going to scroll to this part that's highlighted, right click it and click on restore, and you will be able to see it again on desktop. And that is pretty much it for the page. Let me know in the comments if I missed something. It's all pretty straightforward. This is how you just build the page out. If you have more team members, you can also comment, which is really cool. So you'll be able to leave comments to your other team members, especially if you're maybe responsible for the landing pages and you want to leave some comments, some feedback for others. So you can just click on any specific section and you'll be able to leave a comment. Now, I don't have any team members, but once you do, you'll be able to just select anywhere for any element and just leave a comment there. So really cool. So that is it. So we're going to hit save. You can't update and publish from within this page builder. So we're going to have to leave this and exit the builder. And then we're going to click on publish page here. And then it is giving us options to publish the page. So we don't have a custom domain yet, so we can't do that here yet. If you have WordPress, you will be able to do it via WordPress by following the steps and integrating WordPress with Instapage. Oops. There's also Drupal, which I'm not sure what that is, but probably another third-party app that you could integrate with Instapage. And if you don't have any and you're just testing or just want to see what the page looks like, you can click on demo page and then you can enter a subdomain. So let's say ivanmana.pagedemo.co. We'll click continue and the page should be available. And then once you click on publish, this should be ready. So now if we click on the page, it should be available over here. And then if we enter our details here, and we click send me my guide, it should have that message that you've set, and now the guide will start downloading. And so this is the short version of my guide. You can get the full one on my site at ivanmana.com, but that is what that's going to look like, right? So everything is going to be, and then here I tried to exit and it gave me this pop-up. So everything is going to be ready and available for you. And if we click here, we'll be taken to my courses page. So that is that. I think we're pretty good here. So I still want to show you a few more things here. Let's start off with the conversion goals. So this is what will tell Instapage what is considered a conversion for you. So we can click here, and then any page form submissions can be counted as conversions. So in our case, if somebody enters their name and email, that will be considered a conversion if that's what you set. If you say no, then something else will be a conversion. We also have links on the page. So if somebody clicks on my courses page, for example, do you want that to be counted as a conversion? That's up to you. And last but not least, you have this option where you would enter the page URL that if people visit will be considered a conversion. To do that though, you will need to copy the script here that Instapage has and follow the steps. And that way, when somebody lands on that page, this will show up as a conversion. Now, this is especially useful when you are setting up experiments and split tests here with Instapage, because then you will be able to see which variation gave you more conversions, what the conversion rate is. And this is how Instapage determines what is considered a conversion for you. So in our case, it would be, for example, form submissions in my case. When somebody submits the form, downloads my free guide, that is considered a conversion. However, if you're selling courses or something like that, and you just want to count how many people just land on the sales page, and that is considered a win and a conversion for you, then you could select something like this, or both. I do suggest keeping just one at a time so you don't mix up results, but that's how you do it. So we're gonna leave it at form submissions here. We'll click save, and now whenever somebody signs up on my page, Instapage will consider that as a conversion, especially for testing purposes. Now, another thing I wanted to show you here is search and social. So this is going to be your page title. So this is what's going to show up at the top when somebody lands on your page. So we want to make this, for example, say affiliate marketing guide. The rest of the stuff here are for SEO purposes, and you can also scroll down and add images, add status messages and so on and so forth. I don't want it to show from search engines. If my page is ready, for example, I do want it to be available, so I can just click on save here. And now, once you update the page, don't forget you do have to update it. Let me show you what that's going to look like. Now it says here affiliate marketing guide, see? And there's the exit pop-up again. And it's got this logo by default, which you should probably change if you want to have your own logo. So if you click here, you'll be able to upload your logo. And that is it for that. So one more thing, if you want to control the publishing for this page, you can click on scheduling and you can say update page when I update or at specific times. And if you want to unpublish a page at a specific time, you can do so as well. You also have scripts and privacy where you can enable privacy compliance. So you have to follow the knowledge base article, confirm that you've read it, and then you will be able to add specific privacy terms for your page. So we're not going to have that here. So what I wanted to show you now is how to integrate this landing page with your autoresponder software so you can actually start gathering the leads in your email software. So we're going to click on integrations over here, and you can choose any of these options. In our case, it's going to be a form integration. So we're going to click here. And I do already have GetResponse connected from a previous experience, but what you can do is just click on add more integrations here. And then you would select whatever software tool you're using. So whether it's Aweber, whether it's GoToWebinar, MailChimp, so on and so forth. If your tool isn't listed here, then you would have to integrate it with Zapier, which is another third-party integration that will help connect that email software that you use with Instapage. So most of the integrations Zapier will take care of if you don't see it here. But in my case, I do see GetResponse. Well, it's actually here at the very top. And I've already connected my account, but let me show you how to connect it again. And you're going to follow the same process regardless of which software you're using. So I'm just going to go in here and just disconnect it, and now it's gone. So let's scroll down again. Let me select GetResponse, and let me show you the process. So we just have to enter our API key. So what I'm going to do is just log into GetResponse and show you where to get that key in GetResponse. All right, so here I am inside my GetResponse account. So you're just going to click on Tools over here and Integrations and API. So if you're looking for your API key for, let's say, Aweber or some other software tools, then you would look for the same options. So API, something that's going to say API. So we're going to click here. We're going to go to this API tab over here, and then we're going to generate a new API key. Now, don't share this with anybody, as it says here. And once you generate this key, you won't be able to use it again. So what I'm going to do is just generate it. We're just going to copy and paste it back into Instapage. So we're going to give it a name. Let's say Instapage integration. We'll click generate. And then this is the key that we're going to be given. So we're just going to click on copy, and you will not be able to copy this key again. So copy it now, save it somewhere if you want in a notepad. But worst case scenario, you can always just generate a new key. So don't worry about it too much. We're going to click close, and then we're going to come back in here. We're going to paste it, and we're going to click connect. And that is it. And now if we scroll back up, we'll see that GetResponse has been successfully connected to this account. And now what we can do is we can go back to our landing page. Let's go back here. Let's go on this page. Let's click on integrations, form integrations. Now we do have GetResponse, so we're going to click that. We're going to select the account. We're going to click on continue. We're going to choose a list. So you have a collection of different lists. If you don't, you can just create one in GetResponse so that it shows up here. So let's say this 3-week diet list that I've created 7 years ago. We'll click next, and then you can choose the fields, right? So for the email, it's going to be email, but for the name, it's going to be first name. So my first name field in GetResponse is this one, first name 1. Alternatively, it could be something else. So whatever it is, you named it, or whatever it's called in your autoresponder software, that's what it's going to show up here. So in my case, it's first name 1, and we're going to click finish. And so that is it. So now it's connected, and now any leads that come through this page will automatically be added to my GetResponse account. And you don't have to do anything else. So that is it. It's as simple as that. So there are a few more things I want to show you about Instapage that you will certainly find value in. One of them is creating a custom domain, because this does not look pretty. So if we click over here and we click on URL settings, we want to create a custom domain. So something that is easier to remember and something that will look better for SEO and in general for people navigating and clicking on your site. So we're going to click on unpublish here, and we're going to click confirm. And let's just first unpublish this domain. So we will need to publish the page first, but first we need to add a custom domain. So we're going to close out of that. We're going to come in here and click on workspace settings, click on domains, and we're going to connect the domain. So we're going to click on connect domain, and you can choose the registrar where your domain is located, and Instapage gives you very thorough and simple instructions for what to do. In my case, I'm using Namecheap, but if your domain registrar is not listed, you could just click on other. You can give the name, so Instapage can take this into account and possibly add it later on, and then you would still follow the instructions, which are going to be the exact same regardless of which registrar really you're using. And of course, if you don't have a domain and wish to purchase one, you can click here. I already have a domain on Namecheap, so I'm going to select Namecheap. I'm going to click on continue, and let me just log into my Namecheap account so that I can show you the next steps. All right, so here I am inside my Namecheap account, and this is the domain that we're going to be working with. So adnetworkexpert.com. So I'm just going to go in here and copy it, come back here and paste it right over there and click continue. And now we can choose a subdomain that we want to use. So a subdomain is the word that comes before the domain. So it could be www.adnetworkexpert.com, or it could be any of these, promo.adnetworkexpert.com, or campaign.adnetworkexpert.com. If you already have an existing domain that you're using for your website, I do not suggest you use www because it might break your site. So either use a completely different subdomain that you haven't used before, or just buy a brand new website. Because if you already have a domain that you're using for your website, it might break it if you aren't careful and you don't know what you're doing. So make sure to select a subdomain that you have not used before. So in our case, for example, I want to go with go.adnetworkexpert.com. So we're going to click on continue. Give it a second to load, and now it's telling us instructions. So because we've selected Namecheap, it tells us to go to this specific link, which takes us to namecheap.com. If your domain registrar wasn't listed, it will still tell you these same instructions. So it will still pretty much be the same. The idea behind what you have to do doesn't matter regardless of which registrar you're using. So let's follow the steps here. So first we have to go to the Advanced DNS tab, which is right over here for Namecheap. Again, in your case, just look for the DNS settings. It might be DNS settings, might be DNS options, might be advanced DNS, whatever it is. The point is we have to add a new CNAME record. That's the idea. So what we have to do is look for what exactly we have to add. So in the host field, we have to add go, and in the target field, we have to add this over here. Okay, so we're going to copy that. We're going to come over here, and I actually already have it set up. So let me just again delete that. And I'm going to click on add new record. I'm going to say CNAME record, and then we're going to say go for the host because that's the subdomain that we've decided. And then I'm going to paste what Instapage wants us to paste. And then we're going to hit save. And then that is it. So we're going to click on continue, and within maximum a few hours, it should work if set up correctly. So We'll give it a few minutes. It should work fast because we have done it correctly and properly. Now, one thing we could do in the meantime is actually go back to our landing page, click over here, and we're going to click on Publish Page, and we're going to switch the method so that we use our custom domain. We're going to choose our custom domain. We're going to add a path. I do suggest adding a path, especially if you have an existing website with your regular domain. So here we're going to say, for example, affiliate guide, something like that. We'll say continue. And we want to publish it right away. We're going to confirm and publish. And there you go. The page has been published. So let's see if it actually works. Not yet. So the records have not propagated yet. So that's okay. We're just going to give it a few minutes and it should work. But this is how you add your own custom domain. Okay, so while the domain is getting propagated across the world, let me show you some other features here that Instapage has. And one of them is creating experiments. So if you click on Optimize and click on Experiment, you will be able to test different variations of your pages. So I'm going to click on Create Experiment. We're going to do a manual experiment. You can choose this AI experiment if you want AI to rewrite your text and test out different options by themselves. It is available with a higher plan, so this isn't something I could show you anyway. So I'm going to click on manual experiment here, and we're going to give this a name. So let's say headline test. And then the hypothesis is, let's say a short and sweet headline is better than a long headline, for example. And then we're going to choose the page. We're going to choose that one, and we'll say create. And then we are going to add a variation. So this was variation A, which you can rename over here. So let's come in here, rename it. Let's say this is the short headline, and then we'll click save. And then we're going to add a variation for the long headline. So we're going to create one here. This is going to be the long headline, and we can see which one does better. So we can click edit for this one. And then we can come in here and make a longer headline. So let's write something out. Let's double click this element here, and let's say, get your free 55-page affiliate marketing guide and make money today. So let's say something like that. And of course, we want to ungroup these elements so we can move them around a little bit, make it look nicer. Let's maybe move this up like that. And so, for example, this is going to be our long headline. So we're going to click save and continue. And one more thing we have to do is enter a split. So we want to do, for example, 50-50. 50-50. And then we're going to set split. And then once we're ready, we're going to click on Start Experiment. And then we're going to see which variation does better. So we're going to save, and then that's it. So now the test is running. So now if we go to this URL, there you go. It works now. It will be redirected randomly at a 50-50 chance to either the long headline variation or the short headline. And so that's the experiment option here. Let's go back into landing pages and let's just make sure that the URL here looks good. So if we click on URL settings, click here. Yeah. So it works now. The image could use a little work, but that's probably because of my image selection, nothing to do with the page load or anything like that. And so yeah, so that is it. And that's how you do the experiment as well. So let's close out of that. Now, one more thing I wanted to show you here is how to set up AMP pages, which are very fast pages. I think AMP stands for Accelerated Mobile Performance. So if we click on Create Page here, you will be able to select this option, AMP Landing Page. So this is basically the same thing as a standard landing page. The only thing is that this shows up only on mobile, and it is much, much, much smaller to increase the speed at which the page loads. So let me just quickly show you what that's going to look like. So AMP page, and I'll click on Create Page. And now the process is the same, but it does have the little lightning bolt over there to separate out a standard landing page with one that is only meant for mobile. So we're going to click on Edit Design over here. And this is going to be the mobile screen. And what you would do is you would just add the same elements over here as you would with a normal version, and then you will see what it looks like on desktop. However, there are limits to what you can do, especially when it comes to coding. So if you want to add certain HTML, you can only do so from HTML that is allowed for this specific AMP page. And as you can see here, there's no JavaScript option either, because JavaScript makes pages take longer to load. So this is just a page that will load much, much, much faster. And then once you add your elements, let's say you add a headline over here, let's say you add a form, and you add an image. Let's say this one, I just grabbed the first image I could. Let's Let's make it smaller. You have to click on this option here, AMP validation, so that Instapage verifies that all the elements you have added are within the limit for this AMP page. And that is because if it's above the limit, I believe it's 75 gigabytes that this page can have, then the page won't load as fast. So it beats the point of the AMP page. So once you're happy with that, you can see what it looks like on mobile. And you do the exact same sort of editing you would on here as you would with a regular page. So you just make the changes on desktop. Even though desktop isn't seen, this is just how the editor works, that you can only add the elements on desktop and then edit them on mobile as you need to. So for example, something like that. And then this will be a much faster page that not only is better in the eyes of Google because they're the ones who created AMP, but also in general for your audience, it makes a much better experience. So we're going to click save here, and then we're going to go back again. We want to validate again, make sure this is good. It is. And then we're going to exit. And then again, we can publish the page. So we can publish it through our custom domain. So we could say, for example, mobile, and you can click continue, continue, confirm and publish. And now this page will be available for the mobile version. So if we click on it, as you can see here, it just shows up the mobile version, even though we are on desktop, all right? So that's because that's the point of AMP page. There is a way in which you can make it so that if you want people to go to a specific page, let's say this one, then for the desktop version, they'd access this, but for mobile, they would access a different page. So there is a way to combine that. There is documentation that you'd have to read and follow the steps. I'm gonna leave a link for that in the description of the video that you can follow. Aside from that, that is pretty much all there is to know about Instapage. Let me quickly go over a few of these other options they have here just to familiarize you with them, but that should be all there is to it. So starting off with this personalized option here, this is really cool. What this does is if you upgrade to this convert plan, it allows you to make each page dynamically update depending on who the audience is. So this is something that I've shown you how to do with other page builders as well, where you can add specific Google tokens, for example, the keyword token or the location token, and then it's going to update the specific words that you set depending on the audience that clicks on it. So that's what this basically is. If you upgrade the plan, then Instapage will use these dynamic keyword replacement tokens that Google provides, and that will allow you to change specific words in your headline, in your description, anywhere you like, depending on any set of factors, whether it's keywords, as you see here, to say study online versus today, or it could be location, to say, hey, do you need help in Philadelphia, versus for people from New York that could see, hey, do you need help in New York, for example. So that's the benefit of this option here. So if you want to check it out and learn more about it, you could connect with a specialist. You also have this ad map where you will be able to, again, if you upgrade, you can import your Google ad campaigns and you'll be able to basically integrate Google ads with Instapage to provide a seamless experience, to have everything available for you here. Of course, you also have analytics, and this is where you'll be able to see these conversions that we were talking about and the conversion rate, right? So you'll be able to see how your pages are doing, all the ones that you have here. And by the way, if you go to experiment as well, and if you click on this specific experiment, you will be able to see the conversions over here as well. So you'll see the visitors, you'll see the conversions, all that, to know which one does better. So that's why it was important for us to set the conversions so that you could see all this data over here. And lastly, you have assets, where you have the styles, where you can adjust the default page styles here. You have all the images that you can come in here and upload, so you don't have to upload them manually on the page. You have the fonts, where you can add more fonts to have available for your pages. And of course, you have scripts, which again is available with the convert plan. But all of these are really additional options that aren't necessary to build regular pages, to integrate with your email software. That is pretty much it. You have the workspace settings here, where again, you have the domains, you have the integrations, you can add team members, and then leads over here. So this shows you the leads that signed up. So in our case, I've signed up with this email, and this just shows information about the customer. And that is all for this video. I hope you guys found value. If you enjoyed this video, I do invite you to check out my website at ivanmena.com, where I indeed offer the full 55-page guide on affiliate marketing, as well as training courses where you can go in detail into Google Ads remarketing, Facebook ads remarketing, and so on. I also invite you to check out my YouTube channel at youtube.com/ivanmena. where I have over 600 free videos on a variety of topics related to affiliate and online marketing, which you could certainly find value in and learn a lot depending on what it is you're looking for. And that is all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next one.